Hey guys.
Hi, this is Stefanie.
This is Isaac.
This is Anthony.
All right, so we're going to be talking about meal prepping.
Meal prepping.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited. So excited.
This is probably one of our better topics because this will be the first one posted in the this will be the second one posted in the new year. So you guys have had some time to figure out your New Year's resolutions.
Yep.
Figure out what could be going better, and you'll have tried some things on your own. Potentially you've been successful, hopefully you've been successful, and if you failed, well, here's a whole bunch of tips.
Awesome. All right, so this is actually something I've wanted to talk about for a long time on my own channel. So I'm going to kind of put out some of the topics that I think we should touch on, things that I've kind of put together that I wanted to talk on my own channel. I think we should talk about containers, types of foods, things you can freeze, and storage is some of the biggest things that I think we should touch on.
Yeah.
Containers.
Start
What do
with
you
that.
guys use?
Containers. It's glass.
Glass. Ooh, good.
Should use glass.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Glass is a ton better.
What kind of, is there a specific brand that you guys use?
I use the Pyrex ones because you can throw those back in the oven.
I like the
So you never have to worry.
Pyrex.
That's why I never had the microwave for so long. Thanks, Katie. Thanks for that microwave.
Wah, wah.
Yeah. And then she lost my containers.
Uh-oh.
She loses everything.
No.
She's
They don't get lost.
They get lost.
Those containers get broken.
Yeah, she probably broke my containers.
Yeah.
Those get
So,
broken.
it was very upsetting
Yeah.
because I had to go buy more.
I don't know the brand. I'm sure Pyrex.
Yeah.
What
I
other?
think Snapware makes glass ones as well, which I really like the Snapware because
Oh,
they
yes.
seal.
They have that,
Yes.
yeah, they have the
I have
snap.
a few of those. Or we
I
have
like
a few of those.
I like
And
those.
There's some. Let's see. Well, we obviously have a ton of meal prep containers
Yeah, you
because
guys have
Heather
container
has a
containers.
ton, right? So sometimes we'll store food in there, but we don't ever we'll reheat everything on the oven,
Yeah.
right, in the pan.
Good.
If you have the storage space for it, those containers are super cheap to get, and they're just you guys have all seen, they're black with a little top
I
on them.
love them.
Dude,
I love them.
I like
you can
those.
get those at, if you're in San Antonio, over by Ingram, A Smart Restaurant Supply.
Yeah.
You get them for cheap.
Yep.
That's where David and I get ours
Yeah.
that we use for just if they're only going to be in the fridge for a couple of days, we'll just put them in there and then we can just
Yeah.
toss them, afterwards just because they're really inexpensive. Or you can buy those on Amazon too in packs if you don't want to
We get
invest.
super lucky. We go to Restaurant Depot.
Yeah, you guys
Because
get
we have the LS, she has this
Yeah.
big
Just
old
walk
box, dude. And there's 8 ounce, 16 ounce, 24 ounce. And
Absolutely.
it's just, I love it because I like the way it works is whoever cooks, the other person cleans up,
Yeah.
Good.
So Heather will cook and the food's there because we have all these containers. It's just, all right, put the food here, If we have glass that's not already taken up, then we fill it with glass, right?
Yeah.
But then we have tons of that other stuff.
Yeah, it makes life so much easier.
But we don't have any of the other plastic containers besides just those meal prep ones, and then glass. We even have some pottery,
That's
which is
nice.
pretty cool. Just pottery doesn't have
The lid.
a cover, so we'll foil paper it.
Yeah.
We usually just serve the food in that because it's pretty.
I bet, yeah.
It's so pretty. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces of pottery now, and we're gonna just keep adding the collection. Eventually, just have
Might as
everything.
well.
That'd be awesome.
That's the good thing about the Pyrex ones too, or the Corning ones that have the lids on them.
Yeah.
Because even if you serve people in them, it doesn't look like you're serving them in Tupperware. If you can
Yeah.
serve in Tupperware, it's seriously.
Yeah.
You give them that same exact food inside of a Pyrex dish. It's oh, this is kind of cool. It's clear little bowl. See what's in here. See what's going
more
on.
presentable.
Yeah.
It's probably gonna be people are gonna just taste
Yeah,
better.
it looks fancy.
It does look fancy.
That's
I
exactly
agree.
No, it should be
versus that. Because one of the big things, whenever you heat, so reasons why you don't heat in plastic, just the bare minimum. If you ever heat anything in a plastic Tupperware and then try and wash it out, it stains.
Oh.
Once it gets heated, it absorbs the food.
It
The food
sticks to
absorbs
it or something. Yeah.
and it's staying there.
I've
It's
had
stayed forever.
so many Glad, the Glad Tupperware. Mind you, we have a whole container, a whole cabinet of Glad stuff that we don't use anymore. Back when we were meal prepping before,
Yeah.
and all of them are stained from lasagna,
Yeah.
anything red sauce. Oh,
It's
goodbye
I
container.
hate that. So I don't even want to buy them because I'm
Yeah.
this is gross.
They don't last. You got to throw them out anyhow.
Yeah.
It's true.
So when you think about it, the cost of goods, when you start thinking about meal prepping, because this is one of the biggest things that we get is how much it costs. But the prep of the containers, if you're using the Pyrex ones, the recyclable ones, the reusable ones, the pottery, whatever.
Washable ones, yeah.
They're washable. They save money in the long run because you're not throwing out stuff that's stained. And you're not looking at it going, I don't know what's on that. Why does it feel oily? Why does it feel like this?
Mm-hmm.
It's because something in the chemical makeup started to break down.
Yeah.
And then, of course, your foods will interact with those containers, and that jacks
Comes back into your body.
Yeah.
which is just never.
And touches our gut. Literally will touch our gut because it's our first line of defense. It's in our mouth.
Put it that way.
Yeah. Now, I don't necessarily know this specifically, but I know that plasticware has numbers on them, and they claim that there's a number that's safe to be, right?
Yeah, I think it's 8. Is it 8?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know the actual number.
But when we come down to it, we still, for the most part, you know what? It might be on this one.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure it's on this one.
Shoot, because that one's supposed to be BPA free.
Yeah.
And of course, it's probably not, is it?
No, it's BPA free.
Try and stay away from plastics.
I was just saying, just don't use
we
plastic.
definitely want to stay away from plastic.
Yeah, as best you can.
But we know people will have to use, because there's even the pre-workout stuff, and some people are going to be using plastic regardless.
Yeah. You're always going to have some sort of contamination.
Yeah. You definitely don't want to heat it in the plastic. You can avoid from heating in plastic. That's why even the meal prep containers that we have that is meant for food delivery, and like, I'm sure it's the safe one, but I still don't like to heat our food in that because it's still hot, and there's still like a nuclear bomb in the microwave going off, so it's just better to do it on a skillet.
Yeah. That's the big thing. There's going to be a chemical reaction. Usually when you add heat to something, it causes some sort of reaction. So just because the plastic itself is fine, that's when it's heated and given to you the first time. Then it's heated with some sort of food chemical in it. And now you have another chemical acting with that. So it could be fine or it could not be fine. So there's other options out there as far as water bottles go. So like the aluminum water bottles, stainless steel water bottles, glass bottles, containers.
I got a good site here
okay.
with number 1. It's found in cosmetics, household cleaners, water, juice, soft drinks, salads, dressings, not salads, salad dressings, oil, peanut butter. Plastic number 1 is only intended for one-time use. Number 2 is used in the manufacturing of toys and the packaging of laundry detergent, milk jugs, folding chairs, and tables. No known health concerns. It's just not known. Number 3, PVC. We know what PVC. Tons of health concerns there. Just toxic. Number 4, no known health concerns. Petroleum, made from petroleum. I'm trying to find them. So even if they say that they're microwavable safe and dishwasher safe, it just means that they won't warp. Doesn't mean that it's safe for us. So a lot of those will say it's dishwasher safe, and people are like, "Oh, that means I can probably heat it." And so I know that clients have asked me, and I'm like, "Yeah." So
I've never actually even looked that up.
Yeah.
I never thought about that.
So that's cool. Plastic will not warp when heated. It does not imply that it is a healthy practice. A better alternative is using glass containers to heat foods and to hand wash plastic instead of using the dishwasher.
Yeah.
Well, that makes sense.
You're heating it back.
Yeah, you're heating it back.
Yeah, because your dishwasher.
It's probably another reason why it stains too, because you read. Number 7, BPA has been found to be an endocrine disruptor. Choose bottles made with the number 1, number 2, number 4, or number 5. 1, 2, 4, or 5.
Okay, so that's 4.
So if you look at 5, if you look at like a finger, all of them except number 3. Cool. That's easy to remember there.
Yeah.
Sweet. Nice.
Cool, we learned something today.
And that was from Baby Net, so it's like a baby health pregnancy.
Yeah, I did see some of the baby bottles in there too.
Okay.
Which
I'm sure it's...
That makes sense.
There's also, because baby bottles, for any of you guys who are watching with kids, there's a company called Whole Earth, I think it's Whole Earth or Whole Planet or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And they make baby bottles that are stainless steel.
Oh.
Whoa!
That's
I had some of
awesome.
those for Ava, So they're like the small little metal canteens, but they're just kid friendly.
Yeah, makes sense.
So I mean, and that's why Ava's used to drink out of those stainless steel things. We don't have a lot of plastic cups for her. Because the big thing is with kids, and people are afraid of like kids dropping stuff. Stainless steel, let them drop it all day. You know, if you've got the glass bottles, like obviously if your kids are more
Clumsy,
yeah.
These
don't
are
go with those.
cool.
It was Whole Earth. Is that what it was?
I just pulled up stainless steel baby bottles,
okay.
and it brought up a whole bunch.
Yeah.
That's
So,
cool.
but I mean, that's the thing. They have them out there, so you can limit the exposure. Because a lot of people heat up their kids, their formula and stuff like that. So instead of heating up their stuff in the microwave with a plastic bottle, just heat it up on the stovetop and then wrap it in a towel and hand it to them.
Yeah.
Or hold it for them, whatever else. Because you're also not heating it up to boiling. You're just heating it up so it's heated all the way through.
Yeah.
So that canister itself doesn't have to be ridiculously hot.
Yeah, and at that point, they have koozies
they
that
do.
beer bottles and stuff that work for beer bottles and beer cans.
They have
that
the
you
baby
can
bottle
put
ones
on.
too.
Oh, they do?
They do. They have everything. They got
They
koozies
thought
for
about all
everything.
that. So they thought
awesome.
about all that.
So even if you had something hot.
Well, that's the purpose of the stainless steel is to heat it on the stove, not in the microwave. So they've had to have thought of
ways to
little
hold it.
To make it safe, yeah.
to make it convenient and user friendly.
Yeah, because especially if you got kids, you don't want to hand them anything hot.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
Anything else on containers that we maybe need to talk about?
Well, since we were talking about stainless steel, if you like water bottles, I think I've used it on this channel before. My big blue, I didn't bring it today.
Yeah.
My big blue Arctic water bottle.
Yeah.
It's 25 ounces. It's stainless steel and it's vacuum. I believe it's vacuum insulated.
Mm-hmm.
I've dropped that thing 3 or 4 times now, and it's solid. It's good. I've got some dings on the bottom. It still sits up straight.
Yeah,
Yay!
that's all that matters.
But
It's still standing.
but I mean, it's no big deal. Yeah, it is a little when I touch it, it goes. I'm like, oh man. But it's awesome. It's nice. It's super easy to clean. Just put a little bit of soap in it, shake it, rinse it out, wipe the lid, and put it aside. But that was cheap. It was $20 with shipping, I think. It was 15
That's
bucks.
good. That would be the way to get a glass bottle or in a stainless steel
Yeah.
is to go through a shipping with free web, like Amazon.
Yeah.
Because if you go to a store, you're gonna pay $25, $30 bucks.
Yeah. Well, I did that little video of where to get glass bottles and stuff like that. If you look at Target, is where I did it. Different brands, the price difference between the brands is somewhere between $5 and $10. But if you guys, and we haven't done it in a while, but if you have the Voss bottles or anything like that,
I
it's
have
a glass
mine,
bottle, it's a reusable bottle, yeah.
I have
And
mine
most
at
of those
home.
bottles are somewhere between $1 and $3. So the bottle that you're getting is this little guy right here.
This is a
And
fancy
it's-
schmancy.
Yeah.
I just got it for the design. It's sparkling water. I do not like sparkling water, so poured it out for my dead homies and just use it for water. Now, I'm not going to dishwasher this one. Whenever I decide to just get rid of it, I'm just going to get rid of it. It's just $2. But the Voss ones I usually keep unless they break. And once they break, then I just get rid of them.
Yeah.
Usually what happens is I'm running late somewhere. I fill it up with water. I'm like, I need it to be cold. So I'll put it in the freezer. And you know what happens after that. You forget.
Yep.
And then when you go back, you see you're busted open. And you're like, I got to empty out that whole ice box.
Mm-hmm.
So but that's essentially how they operate.
I've lost a couple bottles.
Or just lose them,
Yeah,
Here at
that's-
Lifetime, lose a few.
That's why we got the different bottles.
Yeah.
But the thing that's cool about those too is if you get those baby bottle brushes, you can reuse those bottles because that one you can't really get it in there.
Yeah, this is
But the Voss one, it's the baby bottle brush is about that big and it's perfect size. It's built for bottles that are being reused multiple times. So there you go. You can actually recycle that one bottle until you decide to throw it out because it was $2.
Yeah.
So, for a bottle cleaner,
Mhm.
like a cup cleaner that we have at the house, because we have some glass stuff, but it's our scrubber doesn't get along the sides.
Yeah.
And so we actually bought a toilet scrubber. And it's our bottle scrubber now. It's never been in the toilet, I promise. But yeah, it's a bottle scrubber, but it's super easy. I've had people be like, why is there a toilet scrubber in your sink? Oh yeah, so that's our bottle cleaner. That's gross. Well, it's never been in the toilet. It's just a scrubber.
It's just,
But it's perfect because you can put a little bit of soap in there and just kind of squish it around, and it gets everything
sounds
outside.
funny.
Yeah.
And it's awesome. I know, but it works. It's awesome. It was
You should
David's
start
idea.
telling people, no, it's a glass cleaner.
It's a glass cleaner.
It just
yeah.
looks like a toilet cleaner.
Yeah, they just made it that way.
Yeah.
But that's an interesting point because a lot of times if you look around the store, that baby bottle cleaner and that exact thing are built the exact same way because they have that coarse rubbing thing on it.
Look at the prices.
And that's right. Because it's a price difference. Because you can probably get that for $1. Meanwhile, the baby bottle scrubber is like $5.
Yeah.
So I can get the same scrubber cheaper. And that's all you have to do. You have to look around and just kind of go off of what you're doing. Because if you do
exactly.
glass bottle full of water for $2 or this like fancy glass bottle with a shiny cap on it, same size,
for 20,
same volume for 20.
And you got to buy your husband one, your kids one. Now you're spending $100 on bottles of water. Like, these are the ways you kind of find, and that's just with containers.
But that's the nice thing about the Voss bottles is that you're getting one already full of water.
Yeah,
and it's
true.
Still cheaper.
That's true.
Than getting one that's not full of water.
Yeah, that's true. So I can get $20 no water, $5 with water, or $2 with water.
And then reusable. Yeah, it's no-brainer.
And it tastes better.
Yeah.
Even with the stainless steel, it tastes much better than whenever we drink it out of plastic, for sure.
I agree.
Like, I had a water bottle in the car, so I was drinking out of that. And when I drink out of this, it's like, oh, man. And this water was from, like, this morning. The water bottle was fresh.
Yeah. It's just having
Well, maybe if it's a water bottle, it's probably been there.
Been
sitting there, but yeah, that's the reason white glass is better.
Yeah. Awesome.
And just the tools of having one of the biggest ones that I noticed whenever I went from pre-Heather and post-Heather, right? So was not just the type of knife I had, chopping skills.
Yeah.
So I had a hand-me-down chef's knife that probably was a hand-me-down from my grandma to my mom, and you know, one of those types of things. And one that I chop very kind of up and down. Yeah. And I bought a better chef knife and cut myself a few times learning. But I also learned how to cut properly, right? Putting your knuckles against the blade, and it's a lot quicker and just saves so much time chopping your vegetables, prepping, where a lot of times I didn't want to cook because I didn't want to chop my potatoes or chop my veggies, or because I just didn't want to have to do that. I'm too slow.
Yeah.
So having the proper the knife, perfect, clean, easy cuts, as opposed to like when you're cutting a tomato and it flattens out and you're like, all right, I'll just put the big old chunk in there, and I don't like chunks. And that don't work, and I won't like the recipe. Yeah. Right, so being able to finely dice and being able to do that where it's not too time consuming was massive. That was the biggest help for me.
Well, I think it's a skill. So like when you think about cooking, it becomes an art. We talked about that before. It has to have a flow. It has to have the right tools, because if you're not using the right tools, you're screwed.
Yeah. And
then having the things to make it seamless for your kitchen. So like when I first moved out on my own, I had literally one knife, but I had a knife sharpener. The old school like the metal rings that you would drag the knife across. And I would literally sit there before I would cook. I would sharpen my knife for about 2 minutes, and then I would be able to sail through it. And it was every single time I cooked, I would sharpen the knife first, clean it up, and it just became a ritual. And I mean, cooking became so much faster because it was literally like I cut everything. Not okay. I got to stop. I got to get another knife. I had one knife, super sharp, cut through everything. But that was also how it worked for me. How it worked for you is different. How it worked for you is probably also a little bit different.
David has an obsession with like nice knives, so we have. I'm sure that doesn't surprise anybody.
No. Nope.
We actually just bought some really nice knives off of Mastrop, I think it was, and they're amazing. I did all my meal prep like the other day that I put on Instagram with that knife. Oh, it was so fast. And I was just, I was like, oh, it's so beautiful.
It makes a huge
difference. It does. So one of the most important things, because you're bringing up knives, is the sharpness of the knife. Making sure that if you're going to do this, you should absolutely invest in good quality knives. Now, we're not saying, $200 knives, just not the $10 set that you get at Walmart.
Yeah.
Get something that's going to last a little bit longer, that's going to stay sharper.
Like spend money on its own separate chef's knife.
Yes.
Like $10,
Absolutely.
15, 20, $50. Yeah,
because you're going to use it.
And Sur La Table, I don't know if I say that right.
Yeah, you did.
Is that right? Okay. They do knife skills classes.
Yeah.
And so I've learned.
Used to teach it.
Did she really?
Yeah.
That's awesome. And so
my girlfriend has my fiance teaches classes too. Throw that
Yeah. Hey, no, that's awesome. And she would be a good person to learn from.
Yeah.
That's something that you want to learn because it does speed things up. Because I worked with a chef this last semester, and we did learn knife skills, and it's amazing how much faster, especially dicing onions, because I would slice everything up, and then each one slice up. Now it's like I know how to do it to where it's like it takes me a fourth of the time to dice an onion and not cry versus, you know, going through and all that. Same thing with tomatoes, like having the realization of dicing. I hated dicing tomatoes. I would never put tomatoes and stuff because I never had the right knives. And it's amazing how having a sharp knife and good knife skills can make things so much easier. So that's amazing. I'm really glad that you brought that up. So yeah, if that's something that you want to do, invest in good knives and take a knife skills class. It's like $30 to $80
for sure,
and like it's skills that you'll use. I mean, it's awesome.
And it's not that hard.
No.
Heather just told me, put your knuckles against the blade, and she showed me. It literally took 5 minutes, and I just made it a point. Go slow, keep your knuckles, and then you start realizing, oh yeah, you won't chop your fingers when you do it like this. And then you can start chopping. Now, I'm not ever going to not look.
Yeah.
I'm always going to look and still take my time, but then you might get to the point where you're like Heather, and you're just like, no, it's on the top shelf, for sure. And then you're like, oh
yeah, the chef that we were working with, she would talk to us and do like a mini food demo, and she would talk to us and not look, and we were always just like,
moving her fingers.
And yeah, she just do, but that's just the natural flow of
proprioception.
It's the same as anything else. I think a lot of people get stuck in how, because I had a guy who said this, how complex recipes are. And you don't realize it's a skill that you can learn. You don't realize you can learn how to cut things. Because a lot of people think of it like, you walk into your house, and we'll use Heather's example, you walk in, and Heather's doing that. You know, talking over here, doing all this other stuff, throwing everything together, making it look simple. You go home, and you're like reading the recipe book, and you're like, all right, I need to chop this. And you're like, oh, crap, why can't I do this? This is taking me 3 hours to do versus, I went over there, and they did it in 20 minutes. It's a skill that you have to acquire. So the biggest thing that we get is, I can't do it. I never learned how to do it. You have to learn. Like it's like reading. It's one of those things like when you're learning how to read, you're like, this is dumb. I can see pictures. Well, then all of a sudden you learn how to read, and you're like, oh, well, I mean, it's so fast. I can literally see everything I need to do.
And you're so thankful you can do it. Well, you're not really thankful, but when you think of like you bring it up, I'm like, man, I'm so glad I could read. But also, you have to learn that because you're changing your lifestyle from this. Not cooking, not having a fridge, we just talked about, right? Like from somebody who, was it Katie's client?
It was Katie's client,
Didn't have a fridge.
Just think about that for a second. Just think about your that gap. What goes there? That's all I want to know.
There's like outlets that are meant for it to be there.
Like, it's got a gap.
A cat tree.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's funny.
I got no fridge.
That's hilarious.
It's a cat tree. Fridge gap.
Or parrot cage.
Parrot cage, yeah. Oh my gosh.
But awesome. In order for you to lose 50 pounds, 75, learn how to cook or learn how to chop. These are things you have to learn. Like, you didn't become a big fancy lawyer or doctor or an accountant. You took classes to learn each skill, right? And that's, I think people kind of like, well, I don't know how to do that. Like, it's too hard. Or like, I should just pay somebody to do meal delivery. Yeah, but what if somebody moves? Or what if something happens to somebody and they close their business, right? Or, then you're screwed. What are you going to gain weight until you find the next meal prep delivery person?
I think it's because we get that all the time. It's like, I don't know how to cook. I don't know this and all that. Learn. And I think people are embarrassed. Because when you think about the skills that you learn as a kid, a lot of us did learn how to cook. Like, I'm a visual learner. So for me, I never sat there and was like, hey, do this, hey, do that. I just picked it up from observation time after time after time. This is what your food should look like when it's done. This is how it's cooked. This is how you prep the pans. This is how you cut stuff. And it wasn't like, and again, the knife sharpening thing I got from my grandfather. He would literally take the knife sharpener out and then go, which is why I started doing the exact same way. I learned all through visual. But if you're not a visual learner, you need someone to walk you through it. Maybe you do need to read a book on cooking or how to cook. And that's okay. Like, it's okay to not have that skill set. Because that would be like coming up to one of us and being like, hey, you're a mechanic. You don't know how to change spark plugs. We don't know how to change spark plugs, but you know how to change spark plugs in like 30 seconds. Looking at us like we're insane. Well, if I learn how to do it, I can do it. Probably never as fast. But it's a skill I don't have.
Still do it. Changing your oil is a good example.
Yeah, that's a great example.
That's something where
it could be done.
Your mechanic could do it 5 cars at the same time. you will do one and still mess up maybe.
Yeah, and that's a great example because when you think about cooking, you know, those of you who cook longer, you have 4 pots going. I can cook 2 different meals at one time.
Yeah.
And it's
I never thought about that.
Yeah, because you got 4 burners. I can do breakfast, I can do dinner, I can do lunch at the
All
same
of a
time.
sudden, they're habits.
Yeah.
You know where exactly.
And you got
know
the
how
oven
much to
going for
season.
speed.
Yeah.
So they got this down here, I got this stuff up here,
Yeah.
the timing of it, you learn all that. Like
Yeah.
that's not something you walked into the kitchen today and said, all right, I'm gonna make a meatloaf, I'm gonna make some mashed potatoes and all this other stuff.
I'm going meal prep.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make it look just like the chef's page.
Oh, don't ever do that.
You
It's
can't.
horrible.
You can't do
It's
that.
never gonna look like that.
Oh my gosh.
Never.
You know? And if it does, your kitchen will be a mess.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
The first time I meal prepped, the very first time I meal prepped, I can't remember how long ago this was, several years, I think, but very first time I meal prepped,
Tuesday.
I was going to do Tuesday. It took me 6 hours. It took me 6 hours to make, I think, 2 or 3 meals. And it was like, I had so much stuff, and I was like, this is too much doing at one time, and it was so stressful. Now, it's like when I meal prep, I maybe take at most 4 hours if I'm making food for me, David, and Rode. And it maybe take me 4 hours versus, and that's like 6 or 7 meals versus me, you know, it's just, use your time wisely. You use in the oven. If you're going to make something in the oven, so I will specifically set aside stuff for maybe using the crock pot for one meal, maybe using the oven for another meal, doing stuff on the skillet in another meal. And there's, you know, 3 stuff going at once.
Absolutely.
And 2 of them I don't have to think about.
Yes.
And so it's like, it just depends on what you're doing. Even though all I'm doing right now is crock pot meals because it's like awesome and easy.
And
I'll talk about that
that's
in a
our
minute.
next. I think that should be our next
That's
tool.
pro segue into it because it's awesome and easy. I mean,
I
It's
think everybody should
super
have a crock
easy.
pot. Everybody should have a slow cooker.
Everybody should have a crock pot. Get one. Again, this is something you need to invest in. It's going to be like $150, maybe up to $200, but get one that's programmable. That is literally the most amazing thing ever. The one that we have at home, I will program it for 8 hours on low and press go, and if I happen to not be home when it's done, it goes to warm. And so it stays warm, but it's not cooking anymore.
Yeah, that's cool.
And so it's awesome.
Yeah.
And so I've been doing for the past 2 weeks-ish, I've been doing like exclusive crock pot meals because it's just
That's
easy.
a mess too.
Yeah.
Oh, it's amazing. It's amazing.
That's one item to clean up.
Yeah.
Yes.
And everything goes in the same item.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's not like you have
I put everything.
cutting boards and knives and forks and plates and.
Yeah, I mean, I'll usually have one cutting board and I'll cut up all the vegetables. So I'll give you the link, but I don't remember the name of the website, but where I got most of these meals from. That way we can put a link to there. One of my clients actually had brought this up to me and was saying that she was like, I meal prep through my crock pot. I was like, what do you mean? She's like, I put everything in plastic baggies, like gallon freezer baggies, and just put them in my freezer. She's like, I will meal prep a whole month. A whole month's worth of food. She's like, it cost me about $350 to meal prep a meal every single day. She's like, and I put it in my freezer. All I do is take it out, you know, thaw it in the fridge the night before, put it in my crock pot, you know, program it, and when I come home, I've got fresh food. She's like, it's packed with vegetables, you know, whatever you want to put in there. And so I was like, I want to give this a try.
Yeah.
I was like, I love my crock pot. I use my crock pot almost every time I meal prep. I'm like, why am I not just using this exclusively and have different meals every day versus eating the same thing all week? And so I did 10 meals the last time I meal prepped, and that was, I think, 2 weekends ago. And that lasted me for like 2 weeks because then you have leftovers, so then we eat the leftovers and then make another meal. I made 3 more from the same website yesterday or the day before, so I've got a couple more meals in the freezer right now. But it's super easy. It took me an hour and a half to make all 10 baggies, and then I do no cooking.
That's perfect.
And all the mess that I made was my knives and my cutting board, and that's about it. And the mess of like chopping off the ends of whatever it was I was making.
Yeah.
But everything goes into the baggie. So you just kind of open the baggie, all the vegetables go in, the tomatoes, the whatever is in there, the sauces. You don't put any liquid in there. But any of the sauces and stuff. And then the meats go on top. Close it. And that way when you dump it, the meat goes on the bottom of the crock pot where it needs to be closer to the heat. So it heats like it should.
Yeah.
And it's stupid easy.
I think that if there's anybody who's just starting out or just changing the whole lifestyle, or just those who are just really busy and looking for super easy, simple things, the crock pot recipes.
Yeah.
For sure.
Crockpots.
And on that website too, she does have some. I did buy her books just because I was like, okay, I made some of the recipes that were off of her website. I was like, okay, I really like these, so I'm gonna go ahead and pay. I think it was $30 for all of her cookbooks, and it's got so many meals. Some of them are healthier than others. She does put it out there as being relatively healthy, but there are some that I'm like, meh, I'm probably not gonna make that.
Yeah.
But they're all really, really easy, good homemade meals. Easy. I haven't eaten out. No, that's a lie. I had pho the other day because I was in a rush, but I haven't eaten out in a while.
Your percentage has gone down. Like,
oh, yeah.
drastically.
I was going out to eat maybe at least 2 or 3 times a week prior to doing this. And now I've got leftovers and another meal waiting to go in the crock pot.
That's my favorite. Whenever like I get out of work and I'm like, man, I'm hungry. I'm like, oh, I'm so glad I have food at home.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I got
Exactly.
leftovers. I'm so glad there's prep. It's just, I love that. And I love leftovers. Like
Oh, so
Heather
do
and
I.
Zared, for whatever reason, don't like to eat it, or it just tends to stay in the fridge for me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I have like a buffet almost every time for lunch.
Yeah, you
and
get
the way
whatever
we
you want.
eat, right, because
Yeah.
of the diet that we're on, or,
You need it.
you know, we can eat tons at once, right? So, but absolutely. What's another tool? I don't, this is bad. I don't like cooking rice.
Yeah.
Don't really know how to cook rice. So investing in the rice cooker.
Rice cooker.
Oh,
that
I love my
takes
rice
10
cooker.
minutes to make.
Yeah.
So
My
easy.
rice cooker
and you
is
can
like-
make it. You can make vegetables, steamed vegetables with it too.
I actually just saw I fell into a Facebook hole on cooking meals in the rice cooker. And so
Full meals.
Yeah, like a rice. It's, I mean, you put the rice in there, and he put a whole tomato. I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to find this again because it was
Yeah, Facebook
like
hole.
8 or
Lost
10
forever.
videos in, but he put a whole tomato in there.
Tony loves challenges.
Yeah, it was rice. It was a whole tomato. He put like some garlic, a little bit of soy sauce, and of course the water, and then put Spam. He put Spam in there. He's like, I love Spam, but he put Spam in there. He's like, but you can do like pre-cooked sausage. You can
Something
do
that's
pre-cooked
somewhat
meats.
cooked.
Yeah, something that just needs to be warmed,
Ah.
and so it cooks the rice and makes the tomato pretty much like gooey. And you just break the tomato apart, mix it all in there, and then you've got the tomato flavor, like tomato flavored rice.
And then
And you can make something super easy.
And spices.
Yeah.
I like that. That's really cool.
Super easy, super cheesy polenta, easy rice cooker chicken curry, frittata with summer vegetables, rice cooker quinoa, kimchi,
You can make kimchi in the rice cooker?
soups and chilies, chicken and daikon soup, chicken chili, taco soup, meaty goodness.
Chicken
I'm like literally, I'm reading this straight off
Whoa.
here. Country style ribs.
You're lying. You're
roasted
reading your own
pork.
recipes.
I am. This is actually my recipe
It's
book.
his own notebook. It's,
Ginger chicken and rice, sausage jambalaya, postage cubano, breakfast and sweet treat. I'm done. I'm not gonna read any more of those.
Cool. So
Yeah, this is-
tons of rice cooker recipes.
Yeah,
So
this
there's
is
another easy way.
Yes.
So-
And again, you could have a rice cooker going and a crock pot, and now you probably have 5 or 6 or 7 meals that you can make out of 2 meals.
so
Because what I was
Two
doing
recipes.
before I started doing the crock pot meals, because I had been doing this for probably about 2 years of just meal prepping, and I eat the same thing every day for a week. I'd meal prep 2 meals, lunch and dinner, and I eat the same thing all week. And I started to get bored of eating the same thing. And so I liked that I can change it up and do the crock pot meals, and I can have different meals all week. But if
Yeah,
that's
I think
easy
that's
for
really
you
cool.
to just meal prep on a Sunday, like I would always do Sunday, I go grocery shopping, and I'd meal prep for David and I. For a little while, it was David, Rode, and I was doing all the meal prepping for, and Rode would go barbecue some chicken. I would do 2 meals or 3 meals in the kitchen, and we'd be done in about 4 hours. And put everything in containers, and into the freezer it would go.
Yeah.
I usually froze my meals in
Yeah.
terms of storage. But most meal prep stuff will last up to 5 days
Yeah.
in the fridge. So if you wanted to
7
leave it in the
days
fridge.
if it's frozen. That's what Heather tells him. If you freeze it, it's like, she says it's like 7 days or something.
you know,
Well, the nice
I
thing
don't know
about
what it is.
the crock pot things, the crock pot meals, that'll freeze for 3 months.
Wow.
So you could
yeah.
make a whole boatload of those.
That's-
And on days that you're like, I don't feel like using my skillet today, into the crock pot it goes. And you can make like 30 of them.
You can
and
have
just
them on
leave
hand.
them in the freezer.
Have them on hand for those busy, slow, or those busy days, those sick days, those days that you just don't want to cook.
Oh, I remember what I was going to say. The
That's
same
awesome.
website, she also has, one of the cookbooks is Skillet freezer meals. And so it's the same thing. It all goes into a baggie.
You just put it on
and
the
then you just
skillet.
put it on the skillet.
Wow.
And then same thing for the oven. Like, you can do lasagna. I make lasagna. I think I talked to you guys about the veggie noodles,
Yeah.
like the lentil noodles. But you can put that in one of those foil oven things that go in the oven. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Pans, foil pans.
Yeah.
And you could cover that and into the freezer. That would go. And all you got to do is take it right out the freezer and put it in the oven.
Yeah.
I also make, David loves my enchilada casserole. It's just deconstructed enchiladas. And so, just into the, same thing. I could freeze that and into the oven. That would go and cook lasagna, any kind of casserole.
Yeah, it seems like freezing would be the
Yeah, freezing makes everything easy.
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you do keep it in your fridge, it's just 5 days.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I usually say 5 days to be safe. Anything longer than that.
I know that's what Heather tells her people. She's like 5 days, and if you want to freeze it, like I think it's something after freezing it. It's 7. It's like a certain number.
You have to use it 7 days after you freeze it.
That's what it
Because
is.
actually,
It's something
we had
like
this happen. So horrible story. Katie did this. Took chicken out of the freezer. So I saw the chicken in the fridge, and I didn't think anything of it. I thought she just bought chicken.
You told me about this.
Yeah. So I'm sitting there, and I was like, I remember seeing it in there. I was like, I got to cook that. And then finally I get around to cooking it, and it had been in there for about 6 days, been in there for about a week. So I was like, all right, I got to use this now, because otherwise it's going to go bad. Like, I got to get to it now. And I cut the plastic wrapper open, and because of how long it had been in there, it undergoes the same breakdown that, bad analogy, but bodies undergo.
I knew you were gonna say freaking bodies,
So
man.
when you have, and this is like something that happens, like, and the reason why I know this is because up in New York, if they find you dead in the snow, your body will decay at the same rate at which it would have, but accelerated. So think about it, like if you died on Monday and you got frozen on Monday night, your body will actually accelerate to the rate of decay that you would have been when you were found a month later.
Whenever you
So like
unfreeze or whatever.
So once it's unfrozen, it actually picks up because the enzymes.
It's like,
are still
I gotta
there.
catch up.
Yeah. So I open up this thing of chicken, and it's like just rancid chicken. I'm like,
Oh, that's disgusting.
I'm like sitting there, and I'm like, oh god,
Uh-oh.
and I dump it in the garbage, like
Uppercut right to the nose.
it was so bad. I dump it in the garbage. I stop what I'm doing. I wrap all the garbage, run it outside, and I come back and I can still smell it. I'm like, what the?
Because it uppercutted
Yeah,
your nose.
it's in there. It's in there
Oh,
forever.
but that smell.
Yeah.
I
Camped
hate
out.
that smell. Like whenever I meal prep, I always try to like take the trash out because the meat
Yes,
containers.
yeah.
If you leave
You
it
don't
in
want
the
them to
kitchen,
stay.
you just walk in the next day and it's just like ugh.
Yeah. So that was one of those days where she's like, "Do you need anything on the way home?" Yeah, I need to get food because
Yep.
I can't.
You're like,
Yeah.
I'm not cooking today.
Yeah,
Not happening.
I'm not in the kitchen. I'm not going back in. You can't make me.
That's so funny.
But so here's one of the things. I've looked at the chili recipe for the rice cooker, and basically 20 minutes, and you got chili in a rice cooker.
Dude, I love chili.
That's
Same.
what
When Heather makes chili, oh my god, I'm like, make extra because I'm gonna eat this for 4 days.
I
I will
love
eat that
chili.
every day,
Yeah.
Put a
especially
little
during
bit of
this
shredded
weather.
cheese and some tortilla chips.
The perfect weather for it.
So
We
good.
just made chili because we have one of those cast iron pans. I love it. I love the way chili tastes out of a cast iron pan.
Dude, that's what I want to. So that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
And Heather, we want to switch all our plates to pottery, and then all our pans to like cast iron and get all that stuff.
See, I like the cast
the
iron.
iron will leak into the food.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you're getting iron as well. That's
Especially
pretty cool.
for women, you actually get usually one steak, if I remember this correctly, one steak made in a cast iron pan will provide a woman with all the iron that she needs for the day.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah, usually.
that's awesome.
I just don't know how to use cast iron pans for eggs because I've seen it done, but every time
My
I've
grandma
used
does it.
What do you mean? What
Every time
goes
I-
wrong?
it sticks like horribly.
Oh,
Like
My
I-
grandma uses a decent amount of oil.
Oh, maybe
though.
that's just it.
Yeah.
'Cause I
She
tried to
doesn't
do it
fry
once and I
them.
got like super mad. 'Cause I
Yeah,
was
you
like,
can't
ever
just
use
do
the
like a
bacon
regular
grease?
oil for that.
Yeah. I would.
bacon grease.
I have to.
My grandma exclusively cooks with cast iron pans.
Yeah.
Like
You probably
exclusively,
have
it's
to
all
do
she
it
has.
like coconut oil.
And so she
Like a-
will,
like
when
a,
she
a
makes
good
eggs,
little like 2 centimeter layer.
yeah. And so it's just more oil. She just puts more
It's
oil
gonna be
in
creamy.
it.
It'll
Yeah.
be a little creamier. It'll taste amazing.
Yeah. Well, I'll give it a shot.
Maybe
It's
not
the only reason
coconut
why I
oil, because then
make
it'll be very
junk.
coconutty. Maybe
Yeah.
just some avocado.
That works. So how much would you spend if you go out to eat?
Oh, it depends on where you go.
Yeah. So I mean, let's say you and David just went out to get pho. Let's go there and pho.
And you pay for him, how much is it for a night out with you guys?
If we go get pho, the place that we go to is really cheap. So it's like $20 with a boba
Still.
For both of you or $20 each?
No, for both of us.
Okay.
It's like with a boba tea, we usually get one. But pretty typical, we usually go to like Mexican food restaurants like Chuy's or Papados is another one, but Papados is really expensive. Mashed over here is another one that we like, or Hop Dottie, the burgers. But each time that's at least, minimum $30 for the both of us, and that's just like at the minimum.
Yeah.
If we don't buy any drinks or if we don't get any appetizers. And it depends on where you go. Like if you go to Papados, that's easily like $60.
Oh, dude, yeah, Papados expensive.
Yeah,
Sure.
And then you got the tip and everything else. And then with the three of you.
with me, Zared, and Heather. So let's say we go to MASH, we're spending $75-$80 minimum. And when we go out to eat, Heather likes to get a glass of wine, so there's always going to be a glass or two because sometimes I'll tag along.
Yeah.
I'm looking at, let's say we go to the cheapest I can get away with is $30, and that's like just some cheap like restaurant, like Hoo Hot usually comes out to like $35, I think. But with a tip, you're looking at $40. But Hoo Hot's way worth $40.
Yeah,
as opposed to going to a Chuy's or a burger place and spending $30-$40. It's like, man, like it's not near as filling getting a double meat burger because Zared gets a double meat burger and I'm like, I'm still hungry after that. It's filling for him, but I don't want to get an extra burger and spend an extra $10. So I'm like, man, it's just not.
Yeah.
So Hoo Hot is a little bit more bang for your buck there.
Yeah.
As you say.
Sarah, 14? 15?
13 going on
13.
14.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you think about that, that's two people.
Growing too.
Exactly. That's exactly where I was going. You got a growing one, which is sometimes like feeding two.
Yeah.
And then obviously you is sometimes like feeding two.
Yeah.
And then,
I do eat whenever I eat because of the lifestyle. When I eat, it's like I'm eating 2 times.
Yeah.
So I have to eat a ton of food. Yeah.
So it's ridiculous when I order food. They're like, really?
Dude, yeah, they're like.
I don't know why they would question you though. I can understand them questioning Isaac. You're built like a brick house.
I went to, this is an absolutely true story. When I was back living in New York, me and one of my buddies went to this pancake place that was across the street from where we used to work.
Yeah.
And we got what was called the breakfast for 4. There's 2 of us. The waitress was like, are you sure you want that? And at this point, we're both high school kids. We're working. It's the middle of summer. And we're swimming. And it's like, I'm like, yeah, we want the breakfast for 4. That feeds 4 people. You're probably going to need to bring us more food.
Like, that's probably not going to be enough.
Yeah, and literally, she comes over, like, 15 minutes later, she comes back, the food's gone, and we're like, can we get another sort of side of pancakes? And she's like, yeah, I guess. Just take my money. Just take my money.
You're like, don't question me.
Yeah.
Don't question me.
When I was in high school, like, after a baseball game, we'd go to Whataburger to celebrate.
Yeah.
Dude, I could eat 2 triple meat burgers.
Yeah.
Those are huge.
Like, nothing. Not like...
Yeah.
Oh, my last one, and I'm not like I was just hungry. I could eat 3. The first one would be with fries, and the second one because I didn't want to get fries. I know that was probably bad. Yeah. I would just get a triple meat by itself, but I would eat it.
Yeah.
And like my friends, they were like, "Dude, you're not gonna eat that." I had a guy bet me one time. He's like, "I'll bet you 20. I'll pay for it and bet you $20." And I'm like, "This dude does not know that I do this like." 3 times a week, like with my family when we go out to eat. So I'm like, cool, and straight up like, threw it down like nothing, and I'm like, all right, like I'm like, go ahead and pay for it now because I'm gonna finish it. Yeah. And so he paid for it, and dude, I think it was 16, 17. I remember it was after a tournament. We played. It wasn't Pleasanton. It was Pearsall. We played a tournament in Pearsall, but it was a P town. But yeah, man, like Zared's just now starting to eat a little bit more. As he starts lifting weights, like he is starting to lift weights, but he gets deeper into that and starts really growing. It's like 4 people overfeeding, 4 or 5 people.
So it's like my brother. My little brother's in wrestling. It's just like
he eats a ton.
He eats so much. My mom is like, I can't keep enough food in the house.
Yeah, you mentioned that a few times in other podcasts where your mom's like, "This is just he eats like
so much."
At that point, like I tell Zared, like I'm not going to tell you not to eat food. Like get the bag of chips, but eat a piece of fruit with it. eat deli meat with it, eat a sausage with it, eat some hard-boiled eggs. Like, don't just get chips. Like, I need you to eat a lot of food.
Yeah.
Like real food too.
Yeah, and real food too. Yeah, of course. But it's right. How much do you spend for you, Katie and Ava?
It depends on where we go, because Ava loves going to Applebee's, and like.
Oh, how much is Applebee's?
It's like
$50.
It usually comes out like 50 or 60.
Yeah.
And then if we go to Hoo Hut, it's about the 30.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, we're all in the same range, but when you look at that, like Ava can eat. So that kid sometimes, like, we've gone out and we've had to make like multiple stops for food, because like she'll eat and like 15 minutes later she'll be like, "Daddy, I'm so hungry." It's like, well, why didn't you tell me that when we were still in the restaurant? Like, if we could have got any more food there. It's like, okay, well then we got to go somewhere else to get more food. Because same thing, even though she's 7, she eats like, that kid put down, I forget what I gave her. I gave her like almost about a half pound of meat, because I made like ground meat for her and for Katie and for me for dinner. And I usually just like put stuff in a bowl for her, because sometimes she'll eat and she'll just like take 5 bites and be done. So I made like a half pound of meat because I was going to finish what she didn't eat, because I was like, well, instead of dirtying 2 bowls, I'm lazy like that. And I made a bag, like a bowl full of carrots. So I put all that in front of her. Katie's eating, she's eating. I'm finishing like cleaning up and stuff. And she's like, "Daddy, can I have dessert?" I said, "Well, how much did you eat?" She's like, "All of it." I'm like,
You're like, "No, you didn't."
And Katie takes the bowl and she like tips it towards where I'm standing, and she's like, she ate all of it. I'm like,
Yeah,
I'm gonna start cooking. Yeah, what else?
You're like, I guess.
Just go get more food. I don't care. So like, even when you think about it, like you're at any point in time, just because the kids, like you're making a ton of food, but if you get that, like, so if you think about it, you guys are spending 30 to 40. You guys are spending somewhere between 30 and 60. We're spending the same thing. So at that point, if you do that 5 times a week, you could have just bought groceries and had 10 meals.
And had a week and a half to 2 weeks worth of food.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
Good food.
Yeah, and yes, it would take time to cook it, but the money saved.
But have your kids help you.
Yeah. Oh God. I really
Honestly, that's one of the biggest things, being part of that, the chef program at the Children's Hospital. One of the biggest things to get children to eat is to get them involved and have them help you dice up,
Now, there's a psychological thing behind that? Like, what was their reasoning behind making sure that you incorporate the kids? Because I've heard that too, PN level 2.
That's a good, I don't know, they never really talked about it.
Says, because there's a point, and I don't know if you're there yet, but they'll get to a case study where it's like when you get to the kitchen makeover section, and they say, all right, now you have little Johnny who isn't, your typical little kid who doesn't want veggies and only eats mac and cheese, and the mom is like, I don't know what to do anymore, and it's like, it's that whole aspect.
It's getting them, I don't remember, they didn't give me any reasoning, and I actually never thought about asking that, but that was one of the biggest things that the chef always brought up, was that getting everybody involved. So if you have picky eaters, have them and get them involved in picking.
Planning the meal, planning the
picking
recipe.
it. And so when it came to, like, we made a frittata, I think it was a frittata. Is that with eggs?
Yes.
Right? Okay,
Yes.
then I'm thinking of the right thing. But it was a frittata pizza. I don't know why my brain was like, yeah, that's the right word, but it doesn't sound right. But it was like a pizza, and it had broccoli in it, it had ham, mushrooms, onion, tomatoes, I mean, like, lots and lots and lots of vegetables, and so it's really pretty.
Yeah.
But when you do it in the pan and then just slip it out and then cut it like a pizza, that's more fun.
Yeah.
But having the kids involved in terms of cutting up,
You're right.
some of this stuff and having them put their hands in it, they're less likely to want to push it away because of textures or things like that. Now, textures are always still an issue, but having the kids involved, it makes them more excited to want to eat.
Yeah.
I'm
At least that's what
sure
they were
it's
saying.
a simple, like, just kids want to be involved. Like, kids want to be like you. And so when you're cooking and you tell them just go wait and we'll feed you when it's ready, like, I can see them saying, like, well, I don't know what you're making.
Yeah.
But
What is
especially
this
if you
that's
start
in
them
here?
young.
Yeah.
Like, man, Ava, like, if you start them young like that, like, there's times we get home and the kitchen's a mess because Jared made pancakes. And I'm like, dude, when he cooks, I don't care what you make.
Yeah.
You could have pancakes. Like, if you're cooking, you're cooking.
Yeah,
Because he does have to put an egg in the pancakes, so, you're getting something. And then the pancakes we buy do come with extra protein already.
Different brand, by the way.
Power Jack or something. Did you see the one we had?
They're the, not Kodiak cakes, what the hell? Crusties.
Okay.
Like, they actually have protein pancakes now,
Yeah.
too.
And
It's
how
becoming
much
more
grams of
prevalent.
protein?
They have 14.
Yeah, that's what this one has.
Yeah.
And then you add the egg like you're supposed to, and that puts it at 20.
Mhm.
Yeah, so it's
Sounds yummy.
Yeah.
and
It's been a
they're
while.
so good.
Yeah.
They're so good, especially when Heather makes them. When I make them, I don't even try to make them.
One of the most amazing things that I've ever invested in purchasing.
I just every now and then when like Heather's had a long day or she
Yeah.
gets home late, I'm like, all right, let's warm it up.
I got this.
Let's warm up the old arm.
And she just eats it like, oh, this is great.
No, dude, I can cook, Tony. Except last night I didn't put enough salt because, and that goes back to what we talked about earlier, experience. Like Heather and I were talking, and we were having glasses of wine, and because we kept talking, I just forgot to put as much salt as I needed to. So whenever I'm tasting the food, right, about to serve it, I'm like, oh shit, it needs salt. So I just had to add it. Good thing it was just salt and not like I burnt it or something.
Yeah.
But it's funny because she could be cooking a Christmas feast, and I could come in and just distract her with crazy stories, or me just being crazy, coming up behind her and just distracting her, and she can still not lose sight of where she's at, what she's doing. And granted, she's a professional, right?
Yeah.
But it's practice. Like the same thing goes with you. If you're doing 4 meals, you can still do the same thing. Like the same thing goes with you.
Absolutely.
Right? Like it's so cool. You were gonna say something. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, that's fine. We were just talking about pancakes and made me think of waffles. One of the best things I've ever invested in was a waffle maker, and it's a huge waffle maker, and it makes 4 waffles.
Yeah.
And so we make like sandwiches. We do like egg
I
and
was about to
bacon
say, can you make
sandwiches.
sandwiches
Yes.
too?
Oh, it's
I
awesome.
love that.
And we would
I
do
used to have one.
the Kodiak cakes, and they
Yeah.
make beautiful waffles. They make beautiful waffles. And so putting that in there, it's the most amazing thing ever. And we cut them and break them up, and the boys would have breakfast sandwiches with waffles.
And it is a great idea too, because you can actually, what we do with the pancakes for a long time is I would put vanilla protein powder in the pancakes just to drive it higher, because Ava wouldn't eat anything for breakfast that was like any sort of protein. Like I couldn't get her to eat eggs. She eats them now, but in the beginning it was like, I just want pancakes. All right, cool. So how can I make these better? So something like that, you can make a whole bunch of those.
So
you take them
easy
for the
to
week.
do.
You
So
can
it goes
freeze
back to
those
the-
too.
yeah.
The waffles, you can freeze them. The
It goes back
pancakes
to the
too.
batch cooking, and it's super simple. And I just took a thing of pancake mix.
Again, so
protein
we
powder.
do the math on that. You have 14 grams in the box. You add an egg, puts us at 20, and then you add half a scoop or a full scoop, puts you at 10 to 20 more. All of a sudden, you got 30 to 40 grams of protein in a pancake.
And then you do a whole grain pancake.
Who doesn't want?
or
Yeah,
whole
and then
wheat.
you do whole wheat, and it's
Drives
good.
your fiber.
You could throw some grass-fed butter on top of it,
And it's a
about
full
to eat.
meal, and it's a pancake.
Well, I would always use, because I kind of stopped using syrup, but I also used, I don't remember what brand, but it's like fake syrup. It's like non-calorie.
Yeah.
So it's probably going to kill me.
But it
early,
tastes good.
Yeah.
Tastes like,
Well, I have to take this. We have a plumbing issue, so they're just letting me know that they'll be here in 30 minutes. I'll be right back.
Okay. So I would use like fake syrup, or I would do just like whipped cream. And so a little bit of whipped cream and throw some strawberries on that, and it's freaking amazing. It's awesome.
Well, that's it. You can use fruit as a sweetener. You can put dice up fruit, put it in there. If you're gonna eat them the same day, I get hesitant with leaving fruit in pancakes for like days or two. Yeah.
I wouldn't.
Yeah. So if you're doing it the same day, you can always cut that up. But if you're doing it like over time, like get some blueberries and just bring it with you and just sprinkle them all in there. Don't cook them in there because that gets weird to me.
Yeah, well then they get gooey, and then
Yeah.
you're more likely for that to mold. And
Yeah.
that you don't want that to happen. There's just too much moisture in the food, and you wouldn't want that to happen. But yeah, that's super easy. So that's like a really easy pre-made breakfast that you could do. Another one I used to do was make, those like, I don't know what brand name they are, but they're the breakfast sandwiches where they got the sausage
Jimmy
and all
Dean.
of that.
Yeah.
Jimmy Dean, thank
Yeah.
you. Those ones, and those are so bad for you.
Yeah.
I used to make mine. You get some English muffins in a muffin tin. So we're like naming off all these things that you should have in your kitchen. Waffle maker,
Ideally, you have
a
these.
blender, crock pot,
Blender,
rice
for
maker,
Yeah.
and a muffin tin. So you can cook your eggs in a muffin tin. I'd break them in there, throw some salt and pepper on each one. Into the oven they go, cook for like 25 minutes. I don't remember what temperature, but you can find recipes all over the internet.
Yeah, there we are.
And they're little pucks. They're egg pucks. Scoop them out. Make sure you grease it because they will not come out otherwise. Made that mistake. And so, but yeah, pop them out. And then so it would be the English muffin. I'd throw the egg puck. I'd either do bacon or you can get nitrate-free sausage.
Yeah.
So sausage puck on there,
Or
and
both.
then a slice, or both, and then some cheese. And I would saran wrap it up, put them in a big baggie, and they'd go in my freezer. I'd take them out, warm them up, throw some mustard on there or whatever.
Wow.
Put
I
them
like
in
that.
the microwave for like
Saran wrap.
20
It's
seconds.
another good way of storing things too. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then put them in another. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, saran them up. That way they all stay in there. And David loved those for a while.
They're
And it's
the
a super
best.
easy, healthier breakfast sandwich.
Mhm.
And it's easy. You don't have to cook breakfast.
Pull them out, heat them up, done.
Yeah, they were so good too. But I mean, easy. You can make
I like that.
breakfast burritos with tortillas. If you can't have English muffins, you can do tortillas. The only thing about freezing eggs don't freeze well. They don't freeze well. And so usually I would never put the sandwiches in the freezer thinking about that. They go in my fridge. They'd last for 5 days. But the burritos, you could always do that, and same thing, go in the fridge and then warm them up. There's so much stuff that you can batch cook.
But that's the cool thing. You got to have a tool first.
Yeah.
And so start with a crock pot. And if you already have it, take your crock pot out, put it on your stove, and Google some recipes.
Yeah.
Everybody has a smartphone now, and just kind of type in beginner crock pot recipes. Or
easy.
some recipes that you're going to get
Then you can take a look at that website, which she's going to get a whole bunch of traffic. Yay.
Perfect.
I don't know her, but I was like, I love your recipes. These are amazing. So I've been telling everybody about them.
Yeah. That's
But
awesome.
they are really good, and they're very easy. And really, it's super easy to just Google crock pot recipes. What do you like? If you like chicken, there's chicken recipes. Chili. I mean, there's so much stuff you can do. You can do everything in your crock pot. You can make enchiladas in your crock pot.
Rice cooker too.
And the rice cooker.
We just found egg
That's
recipes
new
the
for
rice
me.
cooker.
I didn't know you could do all that.
I didn't know you could do that
idea.
either.
Chicken chili or whatever that was.
And that goes back to like, instead of going out and buying a crock pot, because we were saying like $150 for a crock pot. Okay, well if you already have a rice cooker, well assuming you have a rice cooker and not a crock pot, you can do the same thing. It'll be more intensive in the sense you have to sit there with it, but you can still do all the same stuff.
It's still only 12 minutes, 15 minutes.
20
And you
minutes to
can
make
get a
chili,
nice
20
rice
minutes,
cooker
6 minutes to make eggs.
you can get a big one, I think for like 20 or 30 bucks.
The one I got was super small, so because single person, right?
Yeah.
$10.
Yeah.
And you and wait for the deals, look for specials, do all that.
This
cool
time of
stuff.
year, tons of stuff's going to be going on sale because they have all the new appliances coming out.
Absolutely.
You know,
Yeah.
new fridges.
Check out on the online Amazon.
New fridges.
Amazon deals. Like even if you just search Amazon and look for a few seconds and then don't buy anything, they'll start sending you emails of
What's
like
there.
top of those types of appliances and crock pots and stuff. Man, that was cool.
I can't really think of anything else. I mean,
A lot of good information about recipes.
Mhm.
The whole pancake thing, I think people, if they listen that deep in, that's
helpful.
awesome. Because if you can get, pancakes are great.
And they're
I
too
love
big.
pancakes. That's
You
so
know,
Easy
just
much.
transport.
vanilla protein powder.
Yeah.
Because the big thing with a pancake
Fiber,
is
if you wanna put some fiber.
and you can grab it and go. There's literally no mess. When there's nothing dropping on you, it's just, okay,
That's
I'm
what I
gonna
loved
eat it,
about
and
the
go.
waffles. Yeah, it was so easy. I would put them in my freezer and then I'd pop them in the toaster and then just eat them on the go because I liked the flavor of them by
Some bacon
themselves.
strips in that and just,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that does sound really good actually.
yeah, there you go. But that would flavor it up. Somebody would be like, well, pancake by itself,
Yeah.
throw some bacon in there.
Yeah. Or little
Yeah.
sausages. Heat those
Or
up with
butter.
Butter.
Or
yeah.
sausages. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Or the
Mhm.
sugar-free syrup occasionally. Right?
I mean, well, I don't remember. I think it's Walden Farms. Is it Walden Farms?
That is
Sounds
right.
very
and it's
familiar.
the fake. It's not real syrup, but
Yeah,
it's like flavored.
zero
It's like
calorie.
0 calories. It's probably
Maple
going to kill
flavored
me
water.
3 years earlier than I needed to. But whatever. But it tastes fine. And so like for the times I'm like, oh, I want syrup,
Yeah.
I'd use that. And so I mean, it's good. I need to break out my waffle.
And at the
maker.
very least, though, instead of doing
Well,
the
maybe
syrup
pancakes.
with this much protein, you're doing syrup with 30 to 40 grams of protein.
Mhm.
Now, all of a sudden, you still have a better balance
Much better balance.
Mhm.
in
And then your pancakes are going to keep you more full too because of the extra protein.
Yep.
the extra protein. If you want to
It's
add some
huge.
fiber or some
Yeah.
chia seeds, right? Stuff like that. Like, this is where
That-
people
it's
can just start
mixing
experimenting. That's
Mhm.
where it's the art, right?
Yeah.
That comes in of cooking.
the flow.
Yeah.
For sure.
Flow. Man, well, that's awesome. What do you guys think? Summary?
Summer.
Basically,
Summary.
the summary is pretty easy.
Yeah, summer was.
Step 1 was
Step 1 is get containers.
Yeah.
containers.
Get containers and get whatever. If you never cook and you have nothing in your kitchen, like no fridge, I'm not saying buy a fridge, but you should probably buy a fridge.
Buy a fridge.
But get your utensils. Get what you need. So if you're going to start with something super easy like the Crock Pot Meals, like I love cooking, but I've been loving not have to cook. Like it's awesome because the only thing I got to clean at the end of the day is my crock pot and whatever spoons and bowls that we use to eat.
Yep.
You know, it's awesome. It's easy. Versus having to clean all the pans and clean this and clean that. It's awesome. It's super easy.
Yep.
So that's something really easy to start with, or your rice cooker. Or if you want to get fancy-smancy and do skillet meals or do something in the oven, just buy what you need to make that.
Yeah.
Just go online, find a recipe, find 2 recipes, 10 recipes, whatever it is, and just start. Just start. Just start.
And
That's
be
it.
realistic.
Yeah.
You know, decide on the crock pot if you see yourself actually utilizing it.
Yeah.
You know, don't say, I'm going to do the crock pot, and you don't really want to do the crock pot. Maybe, like, do something that you can actually feel comfortable engaging in, and the crock pot is a great example. So, like Stefanie said, just follow through with it.
Yeah,
Okay?
just get started, find something that you like, and don't, one thing that I'm going to say that I've made mistakes in the past in terms of meal prepping is that I try these wacky, crazy recipes that I probably wouldn't normally eat, and then the food stays in the fridge, and then I never touch it, and then I gotta throw it all away.
Yeah.
So make something you're gonna actually eat that you know that you like. If you like pot roast, make a pot roast.
Yes.
If you like brisket, make brisket. If you like meatloaf, make meatloaf. You can make meatloaf in your crock pot.
Yeah.
Hey. Lasagna. If you like lasagna. Lasagna. If you like lasagna, make lasagna. But just don't worry about how crazy healthy it is. Now, mind you, don't meal prep fried chicken, but
don't do that.
don't worry about, please don't, how crazy super healthy it is. Just start. Just make something. If it's chicken and rice, make chicken and rice because it's easy. Just start and then reduce going out.
Yeah. Again, because if you're going to start cooking, you're going to stop eating out more, right?
Yeah.
So that's going to happen, and that alone is a benefit in itself. Just starting slow is going to do that. And as you build momentum, it turns into different cool types of recipes that you actually start enjoying, and you can save, and now you have this catalog for the rest of the year.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Sounds good.
Awesome. Well, cool. If you guys make anything fun, or if you do anything, I mean, send us pictures. Put it on Anthony's,
Tag us.
Facebook
Tag us,
page.
Got all our stuff right down there.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. We would love to see it. Oh, yeah, you can tag us
We're
on
probably going to be making
Instagram.
some chili soon.
Yeah, we just made chili. I didn't take pictures.
You just made chili?
I made chili the other day. I did Southwest shredded chicken chili. Really good.
Yeah, I love chili.
It was yummy.
Sure. All right, guys, this is Isaac.
This is Anthony.
This is Stefanie. Please like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you next week.
Have a good one.
Thanks for checking us out. If you like this, go ahead, like it, share it, subscribe. Check us out on Facebook and Instagram.